Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. It's robot time again. Are you excited? I'm ecstatic. That's right, it's time for the new Paco Rabanne Phantom Parfum. You're looking suave. You're getting pretty slick there. I like your getup. Got a cool matte black finish there. Nice. Of course, the original Phantom, this little friendly guy right here, was not loved in a big way when it first came out, at least by the fragrance community, we'll say. But there's always a chance, a time for redemption with a new flanker. That's how it works. You put out one fragrance, people crap on it. Put out a flanker, whoa, that's how it should have been from the get-go. Tell me, how many times has that happened? At least twice, but I feel like more. So this one came in just today, but I've been wearing it, so I'm gonna give you guys my first impressions and we'll take a look at the presentation as well. I will tell you one thing right off the bat that I do like about the presentation. No leaks. Yeah, there's been enough new fragrances coming out leaking underneath the collar. Mr. Robot Head here, don't gotta worry about him. So, I've got it linked in the description as well as the original Phantom, so feel free to check them out down there. And as per usual, here's a bunch of codes. Please pause the video and use these if you would like. Triple Traders has a ton of clones on there, so if you're looking for clones, that's your spot. Max Aroma has a bunch of everything. By the way, new code, Gents20, use that on Max Aroma. We've got Lucky Scent, Twisted Lily, So Avant-Garde, and even Beauty the Shop. So here we go. All right, guys, let's kick it off with the box. What do you say? Here we've got the front of the box. You have the name of the fragrance, the name of the house, the size, the concentration. You have a little PR, a tiny little one on top of the box for Paco Rabanne, nothing on the sides. On the back, you have a little QR code where you can scan to experience the Phantom universe. This is just a pro tip. You don't really need to do that. But in the name of science, let me go ahead and do that. Wow, so cool. Collections and fragrance. Yes, this is totally awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's really nothing to it. And then on the bottom, you've got the badge code and barcode. My badge code is 30721. And here we have the bottle. So it's your little Phantom robot friend there, but now he has a cool matte black finish of paint. Some people really hate this bottle style. Other people think it's pretty cool and unique. Got to admit, when the first Phantom came out, I thought it was pretty hideous. Not a huge fan. Maybe it's because the amount that I care about the bottle has worn down over time, but I got to admit, I don't mind this one. This little black paint finish, it's kind of cool. On the bottom, you have a little information as well as your badge code. And you have a little PR for Paco Rabanne on top of the robot friend. Let's waste a couple sprays here. Come in. Here we go. Atomizer is actually not too bad. Okay, into the nitty gritty, the fragrance itself. Like I said, when the first Phantom came out, a lot of people were not big fans. I myself was not a big fan. You had a lot of cooks in the kitchen with Phantom. I think 4 perfumers were credited for that fragrance. So it does become something where from the outside looking in, you look at that and think, well, I don't know, man. If you got all these people working on one thing, maybe it's too many. And it just comes out kind of a garbled mess. And then Paco Rabanne also was saying how they used AI to help them come up with the fragrance, you know, that I think they said they did brain scans, and I'm kind of just going off memory here, so I could be foobarring this a little bit. But they went off brain scans to determine like which notes and note combinations were most pleasing to people, and they were like, okay, put that in the fragrance. You know, that one's pleasing, it's in the fragrance. That's pleasing, it's in the fragrance. Kind of like Key and Peele with Gremlins.
We writing Gremlins too, it should be a party.
You talking about a gremlin with glasses who could talk and sing New York, New York? That's brilliant, it's in the movie done. You mean a gremlin with 8 legs and a thorax just catching pretty ladies in a web in an office building? Oh my God, it's in the movie, I love it!
Except with perfumers and a robot fragrance bottle. So yeah, a lot of people did not love this one. I didn't love it. Now, I think that for what it's made for, which I would assume is for guys probably on the younger side of things, looking for something sweet and a bit fresh that they can wear and pull potential compliments with, that it gets that job done decently enough. But truth be told, the way that the original Phantom smells to me, was not that memorable. You know, it was the kind of fragrance where you smell the fragrance, and even if you're like, yeah, that's fine, it's that type of scent that you kind of forget how it smells a little bit later on. And you could say a lot of fragrances suffer from that, but to be fair, when you smell something that is Sauvage or Sauvage-esque, you know right away, oh, Sauvage. Same thing with Bleu de Chanel, same thing with Dior Homme, same thing with a bunch of fragrances out there. The ones that really stick with you, Acqua di Gio, when you smell it, you know right away, oh, that's Acqua di Gio. Phantom for me, it didn't have that. You know, you smell it, and then you're just like, oh, all right, whatever. And then I could smell somebody wearing it 2 seconds later, and I'd be like, what is that? I don't know, have I smelled that before? It's a little familiar smelling to me, but I wouldn't immediately recognize it. So I think that was the main thing with the original that kind of fell apart from me. Enter Phantom Parfum. So is this better than the original Phantom, or are we just kind of retreading old ground? Well, I can tell you guys, when I sprayed Phantom Parfum on earlier today, the second it hit my nostrils, the second it shot up my nose and the receptors started firing in my brain, I was like, that's way better. Screw the original Phantom. Just plug your ears, you don't need to hear that. Sorry, it's not your fault. So yeah, Phantom Parfum I feel like is just way better. This one over here is kind of a redheaded stepchild. You know, this is the cool guy right here. This is way nicer. So how is it different? Well, it's not quite as fresh as Phantom, which you would expect. This is, after all, the Parfum, and it's in an all black bottle. So not really a surprise, but it does have a nice kind of tartness off the top. It's got rhubarb in there mixing together with citrus. I think it smells great. You do have that warmth right off the bat. You have lavender in there, and it is a decently clean lavender mixing together with cardamom. It does still have that sweetness that you would expect from a Phantom fragrance, frankly, but it's not as high-pitched, high-tinged as the sweetness in the original is. So here it's a little bit deeper, darker, richer, what you would expect, again, from a Parfum version of Phantom. And it's really wild to me because it still has that Phantom DNA. So when you spray these on side by side, and you can compare them side by side, you'll see, oh yeah, you're working with generally the same thing here, same idea, just executed, in my opinion, better, pretty much all the way around. It's got a little touch of powder to it, but not that much. So there was a moment there as it was heading from the opening into the mid where it was like, man, is that like a little black excess kind of in the background of the fragrance? Like this almost praline kind of sweetness poking through. And I'm assuming that that's gonna be the vanilla and the Tolu Balsam and the mid kind of mixing together with a bit of that cardamom off the top. You know, a little Invictus Victory, a little Scandal Le Parfum. You can get all of that, like bits and pieces of it, kind of mixed in here. And it's just way more appealing. It becomes this fragrance that's sexy and just the right amount of sweet, a little candied, yeah, a little candied, but it has that like additional little touch of patchouli in there that helps balance it a little more. That way it doesn't come across as this almost screechy, syrupy sweetness, which sometimes the original can come across that way. Here it is, I hate to say this, almost a little bit more grown up, which is goofy because it's a friggin' bottle that looks like a little robot. So how mature can it really be? And the answer is not much, but still more than the original. And one of the best things about this is that it has an extremely addictive quality to it. So all day today, since it came in, I've been spraying it, and then I wear it through the mid, and once it kind of hits that dry down, I go spray it on again. And then I do the same thing again. I've done it like 4 times today. And each time, it's gotten more appealing. The very first time I sprayed it on, for just like a few seconds in the opening, it had this kind of powdery feel, and I was like, ooh, well, I don't know about this. This could be kind of like a dusty, powdery kind of scent, you know, from the opening all the way through if I'm picking it up right off the top. But then each time thereafter, didn't happen. So it's like it's gotten better each time I've worn it. The performance is good, it projects well, it's lasted a long time. Admittedly, I've been spraying it on multiple times, so at this point I probably have too many sprays on, but it's still working well. The only potential drawback, I would say, is that this is gonna tread familiar ground. You know, it's gonna be doing the same thing that stuff like Invictus Victory, Invictus Victory Elixir, that those do, you know, like I said, Scandal, any fragrance that's kind of in that wheelhouse, you know, it's doing kind of similar things. But I will say that this stuff just smells great. It's really appealing. You can dump on it for the cheesy looking bottle. I know a lot of people kind of, in general, don't like how Paco Rabanne does things because they do have fragrances that are typically a little bit louder, a little bit sweeter, maybe a little more playful, but I like this a bunch. I think this is a big improvement over the original. I never wore this. I never reached for this. I would reach for this. It's gonna be more of a fall and winter time fragrance. It's gonna be more of an evening fragrance as well. No big surprise there, but I think you can easily pull it off during the day. I mean, it's not like it's some crazy super formal fragrance, right? So, but yeah, this stuff smells nice. My wife really loved it too. So, I mean, it's way better than I was expecting. I was hopeful, to be fair, because anytime that you come out with something that's a little more deep, developed, a little more bold in a fragrance line, usually it works. Not always, of course, but usually it does. So I was, we'll say, cautiously optimistic, but this is way better than I expected. Even with being cautiously optimistic, it's better. So yeah, I like it. And I think one thing this does really well also is it expands the age range of people that could use this. Because this one's gonna be more for younger guys, right? And younger guys can pull this off also, but so can middle-aged guys and even up. But if you do have a ton of fragrances, you know, that have that sort of vanilla, sweet, spicy, slightly warm spicy scent profile with kind of a caramel edge to it. If you have a lot of fragrances already that do that, maybe this is gonna be too redundant for you. And at that point, I try to sample it first, but this is a big step in the right direction. I'm a fan though, in general, of fragrances like this. So I dig stuff in this wheelhouse. So keep that in mind also. There we go, Paco Rabanne Phantom Parfum. Way better, way better. Sorry, original Phantom, but you've been shown up. And I do wonder if from here, the line continues to get better, and then this is like somewhat the looked down upon fragrance in the line. It'll still have people that say, no, it's way better than people give it credit for, and that's fair enough. But I do wonder if that's kind of what we're gonna have going on here. So there we go, Phantom Parfum. Thank you all for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you all later.